Are you gonna sign this, or will it be your surviving family members?
Okay, I guess that sounds pretty good.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Gundam Age, and instead of a fancy-fancy intro that leans us right into things, we're gonna just get into things, because there's a lot to talk about. We're covering episodes 21 through 25, so again, we're doing 5 episodes, and we're at the 2/3 point, and I gotta say, these were pretty goddamn good. 21 onward, it caught my attention, kept me engaged, and it's sort of like the same thing when I watched Seed Destiny for the first time. It had to really win me over, but I think this crop did that, even though there are some problems. I grade on a curve.
You have to with this show.
I suppose.
You really do.
But yeah.
This is simultaneously the best part of the show and also the part where all of the teeth grinding shit begins to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anchor, Dingle, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with Zion on this one, honestly. I enjoyed certain elements of these episodes, but there were certain glaring problems that just could not be ignored. And I felt the usage of certain characters was subpar, to say the least.
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there.
I'm enjoying myself. Some of the best parts of the show are happening now. We're making progress.
So we're 2 for 2.
All
This
right.
episode should be really interesting.
So,
Yes.
I'm gonna start us off here with working a little bit forward to something that's kind of irrelevant, and I thought it was gonna be very relevant, and I'm kind of disappointed it wasn't. Yet, that is the utterly awkward but adorable romance between Engineer Lady and Redhead Pilot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Albright
and
Remy
Roof.
are their names.
Yeah,
They are my happy place.
They
for
are
Age 2.
They're just kind of two dorks that it's funny. It's just cute to watch. What I thought was gonna happen is the episode where he says, "Will you marry me?" Which, kind of jump of the gun there, lad. Which, is the point. Is the episode where Asemu decides to smash open the big dome, the dome that lets him be a smooth brain, and wears it into combat. And what I thought was gonna happen is he was gonna show up too late, or he's gonna be so fixated on fighting that he failed to protect one of his teammates and would be responsible for getting him killed, crushing any hope of that sweet relationship continuing and crushing that girl's spirit. I thought that was gonna happen. Kinda happy it didn't, but if we're remaining consistent, I feel like Asemu should have been properly punished for the stunt he pulled there, and
Hey,
that would
we
have been a great way.
episodes left.
Yeah.
We only have only
Yeah,
3?
we're not at the 2/3 mark. We're at the 4/5 mark.
Oh, oops.
And one of those episodes is an epilogue.
Wait, so you're telling me the rest of this show is Age 3?
The rest of the rest of
the
the
show is Age 3 and then Age all 3 at once.
Olive. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Suffering.
actually, that kind of makes sense with how the last episode ends, with the big fleet dropping out of invisibility at the Federation base, and the Federation...
The big ring.
Yeah, the big ring, and the Federation guy going, crap.
So,
God damn it.
can we talk about the big ring for a second? When I first noticed it and I was looking at it, I was like, that's Earth beneath it. It's right outside of the Earth sphere.
It's in orbit, yes. It is a
And I'm
big
just
old
like-
Laplace-like satellite.
No, this is just absolute proof that the Vagans are just horrible at waging war. Like, you guys can easily get there. Like, it's nothing. And you guys had the technological advantage for a long time. Why not?
Wait, hold on. No, there's actually a more pressing question. So, in every other Gundam show, they kind of account for this by the sheer virtue of ships are slow, they can be seen, and the war is being fought on like a stellar scale. So there's constant maneuvering and things like that. It's why Char isn't able to just yeet an asteroid right into Earth unchallenged. Londo Bell knows where they're going. The Vagans have invisibility. Why don't they just go to the other side of the planet where there isn't the base and attack the planet?
Yeah.
Yeah, but, reasons. Actually, I think that's what they're doing. I don't know if they illustrate it really well, but I think they're not at big rank for the second go-around. Someone fact-checked me on that?
Having just watched the episode, I'm pretty sure they're right outside big rank.
Yeah, no,
Are they a big rank for
Yeah, no, they're
round
going
two?
for a second charge. They're just going for an all-out charge this time.
Okay. I don't know why I got the impression that they were attacking a different, less tanky fortress for reasons. I might just be stupid. But yeah, also, can we just talk about how completely inept Zahart is in regards to his personal life? Because A, he has absolute command authority in the Earth sphere. Vagan Palpatine is at Mars. Can't do anything about it. The only person who can give you any trouble is your shit-dick brother who nobody likes. And you're clearly not fully invested in this because you've had 3 or 4 chances to kill Asemu now, and you've taken it none of those times.
Yep.
You could have flattened him with a foot.
Change sides already, you gigantic dingus!
But then, no, here's the thing. He doesn't want to kill Asemu because he likes him. He wants to kill Asemu because he wants his ass. This is something I ignore that Dingo has just figured out. This show doesn't have a love triangle. It has a love circle.
It has a
with a star of
love.
no.
It's
it has
a love
no.
pentahedron, is what it is.
Zahart and Asemu both want each other's asses, and Rosemary wants both of them.
No, they make it pretty abundantly clear in how they frame the episode where Zahart goes and visits him at the lake and stuff that Romary's interested in Zahart, not Asemu, and he's only just realizing this.
Let's
Yeah,
talk
that's why
about
she's
that
jealous. That's why she's so jealous of fucking Asemu, because she wants Zahart's ass as well.
No,
You see,
no,
Zahart's the protagonist of this harem.
no.
So let's take a dive into that scene. So Asemu's standing here at the lake, being frustrated because daddy issues, and Zahart appears. All right,
Yep.
and he's
Which,
like,
dumbass move, by the way. You should have just shot him in the head and been done with it, asshole.
he's sitting there, and he's like, hey, you should give up and go do something else.
You're not cut out for fighting. I don't want you on the battlefield because I lose my edge.
And Asemu is just like, no, I have reasons to fight, even though his answer should have been, what, do you want me to retire to like some suburb somewhere so when you guys take over, you can be my dictator? That's the rational response, but Asemu gives the irrational response, because of course.
Like, they should have given the kid a bit of conviction where, like, have some of his dad sort of rub off on him, which is a sentence I wish I didn't have to say this morning. But, like, just, no, I'm not backing down because you people will not stop.
Yeah.
And they even had him set up for that because I think the episode, was it the episode previous where they were doing the whole civilian casualties thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it turns out that Flit is right, which we'll get to. So, yeah. These people are awful. They're the enemy. Why don't you just elaborate on that? You stupid fuck!
Yeah, and so Zahart pulls out his gun, because he's like, I'm gonna finish this.
Which we know he's not going to, but...
And he hesitates
Sure.
and takes forever to actually do something with that. So it provides enough of time for Romary to run in and tell Zahart and Asemu to stop it. During the scene, she goes up to confront Zahart, and she's all up against him, and Flit's like, oh, my girl, how dare she be with this
Asemu's
dude?
like, oh my god, all of those blatantly obvious signals she's been giving for like 3 years now, it only just made sense.
So Flit, out of anger, punches
Asemu.
Asemu, ass man. He
Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice. He punches Zahart in the face, right? Takes the gun. Zahart's on the ground, and Rosemary steps in between the two. And I'm just like, instead of calling the diva like ass man asked, this conflict would be a lot shorter if they just captured their commander. But we know we have to have a plot. Because
we have to have the plot.
If Rosemary actually cares about Zahart, having him in a prison cell is a lot safer than him going back out to go try to kill Ass Man, or vice versa.
Well, here's the thing.
And it also states that she values this guy's life over the lives of anyone else aboard the ship, because this is the guy who was actively trying to kill them.
Yep.
Which, oh boy,
is a level of selfishness that I just cannot comprehend.
I'm gonna come to her defense here, though, because she's not necessarily saying that what Zahart's doing is right. She just doesn't want Asemu to shoot him.
Well,
he said call the diva. He was planning on capturing him.
He was pointing the gun at him, and then he was like calling the diva. He explicitly states like we're gonna throw you in a goddamn cell. This is over.
She made the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Yes,
but I don't think it utterly sabotages her character.
I'm not gonna say it utterly sabotages it, but this, if I was in Asemu's place,
I would react exactly how he did. The man is pissed.
Very pissed. That's the sort of thing that would probably ruin like a friendship. That's a level of what the hell that I don't think I could handle.
Which I respect the show actually showing that, because like Rosemary's like Asemu after he comes back on the ship and he just ignores
and he doesn't say a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
So like props to Age for actually acknowledging the fuck shit it's doing is fucked, because we never got that with Flit.
Except for Flit.
Because Flit cannot suffer any consequences for his actions, which is the running theme of Gundam Age.
And I love how Asemu has to keep suffering for his actions and the actions of others.
That is one of the... So elaborate. Besides the gypsies kidnapping him, that's the other reason why Smug probably wouldn't be here for these sets of episodes. Smug does not like Age 2 because he hates how Asemu keeps having to learn the same lesson over and over again.
But you know what? He's believably stupid.
Okay, is the same lesson the X-Rounder stuff?
Like the X-Rounder stuff,
like
the X-Rounder stuff, and having to compare himself to other people around him, especially his dad.
I'm gonna actually say no. It's not the same lesson. It's different. He has a lot of self-confidence issues, but the actual problem he's experiencing from episode to episode is different as he's growing up into a man and into a pilot. At first, he's not really worried about overcoming his dad or overcoming Zahart. He's worried about figuring out what he wants to do and who he wants to be. And he comes to that decision after Zahart kicks his ass the first time. He's gonna be a pilot. He's gonna fix all these problems that keep happening. And then he doesn't excel.
Yeah.
And it becomes a different, more internal struggle.
Which I prefer over Flit.
Yeah. Like, it's not elaborated on enough for there to be a meaningful difference, and there's not enough time for it in the course of Age 2 for it to really work. But it's there. I can see what they're doing, and, like, Asemu is never static. Flit is static. Asemu is not. He's always changing. He's always growing. Something new is affecting him over the course of every episode.
And how do I put this succinctly? Asemu effectively grew up without a father, and the father he has is, look, his life may have been genuinely improved if Flit was dead. That's the level of bad father we're on.
We're on that Gendo Ikari shit.
And more than that, you also have these themes that he only really matters to his father as a tool for his war against the Vagans. Like, he comes up excited to see his father when they're aboard the ship. He goes, "Father," and then Kendo. Flit fires back, "I'm not your father, I'm your commander." And he never acknowledges him, like, ever on a personal level. And beyond that, you also have this character who's outside of his mom and sister. The deepest relationships he's ever had, 2 for 2, result in a pretty massive betrayal. Romary isn't as bad as Zahart, but that's something that destroys a guy's self-worth and his self-esteem and confidence.
Mm-hmm. Which is why it's so important that Wolf's there for him when he is.
Yeah, let's just say it's easy for me to relate to what Asemu is doing, and the fact that certain lessons haven't sunk in, even though he's, I guess, has had them said to him repeatedly, I find believable, because that's an issue you don't get over in one conversation.
I will say, from
it's a lot of
personal
steps.
experience, like as someone who grew up with absent and or abusive father figures, yes, that is exactly how this works.
Yeah, which, is what I'm also kind of coming from.
Dear audience, we've seen some shit.
Yeah, and you get this. It's interesting what they did. I was gonna complain because at the episode where he puts on the X-Rounder helmet comes immediately after Asemu destroys or kills 2 X-Rounders with his suit by embracing how he fights, how he deals with the situation, by embracing himself. And then the next episode, he gets this helmet, he gets obsessed over it, he takes it out, and it felt like a step back. Like from like a writing perspective, like they put this in the wrong spot. But then, at the end of the episode, Wolf, after Flit just kind of ignores his son and goes, "You screwed up, bye," goes, "Kid, You're
already a badass.
You're already a badass."
He says the iconic line.
Yeah, be a super pilot.
Yeah, and it clicked. Like, okay, Asemu is the writers deliberately had him miss the forest for the trees, which again, I found believable. So I get where Smug is coming from, this kidnap victim, but I don't know if I outright don't agree with that sentiment.
Yeah, and
I'm on that same flow. Also, problem, again, we have 12 episodes to do this in, and it needs 20. Like there's literally just not enough screen time. Even if they didn't waste 2 episodes at the start of this, there's just not enough time for it to fully develop. And the fact that it's still more engaging than Age 1 is pretty commendable, I would say.
So,
but Dingle, you had a point.
Yeah, kind of moving forward a little bit. Well, technically back episode-wise, I want to talk
We're
about...
going all over the place.
Yeah, I want to talk about the episode where there is a factory working on Vagan suits.
Yeah.
Because it interested me. I was like, okay, we have people on Earth that are actually... Well, not on Earth, but in the Earth sphere, under Federation control, that actively work with the Vagans, which is something not new. We see a little bit of that in Age 1.
Traitors in the Guard.
So, my whole thing is that with this episode, Flit's operation is technically dealing within civilian areas. The captain lady, Millie, she objects initially, but then she goes along with the plan.
No, she doesn't object. That's what pisses me off. She does not object. She acknowledges it internally and says nothing but okay.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even object internally. She just comments on it for the audience to be reminded that, oh yeah, Flit's a monster, and then goes right along with the plan. Because Flit cannot experience repercussions for anything he does.
You
Ever.
can't really, because he's now the High Commander of all the air forces in space. He basically...
I'm sorry. If anyone on that ship can object to what Flit's doing, it's the captain who knew him when he was a little shit.
Yeah. But, like, my whole thing with the episode is that Asemu runs out after hearing this, right? Because he objects to it, and also daddy issues. He runs out, and the Wolf team have to fight these mobile suits, right? And there's fire everywhere, and it's starting to reach into the civilian area until Romary pulls our boy Asemu back and tells him. And then he arrives in the Age 2 and wipes these goons in a matter of seconds. Which my problem with that is, it's a lesson to be learned solely for the fact of, had he been there earlier, there would be a lot less
Civilian casualties.
casualties.
The abandoned buildings district would not have burned down nearly as severely.
Yeah. And like, it makes Flit right to a certain extent.
It makes him totally right. Like, yeah. See, I told you so. If
Okay.
we don't do this, it's gonna be worse.
So yeah, this is something that we kind of touched on when we were like talking beforehand, and I actually didn't interpret it that way for a few different reasons, and I kind of now know what they are. And I suppose this was me giving it a bit too much credit. But my sort of takeaway there was that, you know, Asemu is taking the moral stand of not wanting to have civilians get hurt, which, you know, that is brought up. The thing, though, is, like, tying into Millie, Wolf, literally everybody going along with it, is they're coming from the mindset of, well, people who are used to this sort of thing. What I thought was implied, or for some reason this just appeared in my head, was a point for Asemu, that being, yeah, but if I wasn't here, if I wasn't a card you had to play, these people would have died, and would you have been okay with that? Would you have ordered it anyway? If that makes any sense.
It does.
So
It makes sense.
It's
but
one of
the
those
show
things
doesn't
where,
have that.
yeah, so
At
that was sort of what I took from it is, yeah, Flit's right.
He's correct. That doesn't mean he's right. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. If the episode was written well, and they had a scene dedicated to that, instead of immediately throwing Asemu in the brig, and nobody commenting on it, I'd give you that point, 100%.
Yeah,
However,
and I think
it's
that
not there.
I also think that just stems from watching too much Gundam, because that is generally a point that's made.
Yeah, that's what should have been made.
And the thing
This
is that
Age forgetting it's how to be Gundam for a minute.
I have to give Romary a point in that sense, because she's like, this is war, Flit. Not Flit. Asemu. Sorry. I get confused between the two sometimes.
It's fine.
And, you know, she tells him how it is. And to a certain extent, you know, I agree with her, which I shouldn't be, though. And that's the issue, is that, like, the Vagans, for all intents and purposes, have been shown to be absolute monsters. So them operating in this area is a viable threat, and it should be handled.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, the actual realities of war, yeah, this is stuff that happens. I think everybody at home who isn't a literal child gets that, and it's not harping on those realities per se. But this is a work of fiction. It's a piece of art, and it's generally trying to make an overall point. And one of the points is Gundam as a whole is that war is bad. So in turn, you take a look at this particular issue of it's war, this is what happens. And the counterpoint is, yeah, but it doesn't have to be this way. In Battlestar Galactica, there is a common sentiment that's uttered throughout the show. That being, it isn't enough just to survive. We as a species need to be worthy of survival. And that's sorta generally what scenes like that are meant to demonstrate is, yes, you are correct. If I was here, less people were going to die. But you should have never made that call to put them in danger in the first place.
We shouldn't be here to begin with.
Yeah.
Which is, here's the problem. Because, yes, that is more or less Gundam's overarching theme in a nutshell. War is bad, it's horrible, and we need to stop it, so we shouldn't be there in the first place. The problem that Gundam Age is now running into, and it orbits around Flit because he's the character for this, is that it's both trying to do that while also not portraying Flit as being in the wrong for some reason. It's framing him like he is. He's drawn and he's coded like fucking Gendo Ikari, and he's doing all these horrible things, and the show wants you to not side with him. But then the writing is also not giving the audience any reason to do that, and he's proven correct at every single point.
But, Dingle, you had something?
Yeah, and, Boo, I would agree with your point if they started pushing Zahart in that direction, that he was also idealistic in the sense of, we can do other things outside of war. And he's friends with Asemu, and so if I was writing, I'd have the scene at the lake be more of a discussion of, what could we do to stop this? Because we both don't want to fight each other. That's just the truth of the matter. So how can we fix this?
And that would be the Gundam out of 10 solution, but they're not doing that because we have another arc and this war needs to keep going, and for other reasons that I can't possibly fathom.
I got a little bit lost in the sauce there. What I was more so addressing is just, we've talked, we're friends with a couple veterans, and we know, all of us here know full well that in reality, Flit is absolutely just correct. That's the nature of war. I'm more so just talking about the distinction between, I guess, actual conflict and how it's generally presented in media. Like, it seemed like it was going to try to make a point. It seemed like the perfect spot. It didn't.
Exactly.
And it's now messy.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
and not to belabor the point and ruminate it on it too much, but that's about as wrong as you can get Gundam.
Yeah.
Like, that is almost literally antithetical to what you should be doing in a Gundam series. It doesn't make me teeth-grindingly angry yet, but that is literally 180 degrees from where you should be pointing with this shit.
Yeah.
Now,
very bad.
Now on the getting out of sort of the negative points that I have on these episodes particularly,
let's talk about the fun stuff, because there's a lot of fun stuff in these episodes.
I actually enjoy what they're doing with tech in the universe, because the H2 is it double barrel?
The double bullet.
Bullet.
We get a proper actual mid-season upgrade for the first time in Age.
And
it's I guess by virtue of the arc being so short, they didn't have time to put more of the packs from the video game in or whatever, but the double bullet is actually just a straight up upgrade to the Age 2 normal. It does everything it does, but better, and it's awesome.
Also, it's a neat visual reference to the Gap plant from UC.
Damn right it is. Which, by the way, blonde-haired pilot, not a new type in any way, shape, or form. He's the heroic Yazan Gobble.
Yeah, he's Yazan Polkovich.
Not to mention, I like that they show that the Adels can also use wear pack systems, and that we get to see the Titus Adel, which
I
is
wish I liked it.
dope. But
We
the
also
thing
see
is that
Adels, but they don't acknowledge that they're in Spallo mode. They just show them that they aren't.
I think that's the default mode.
No, it's not. The Adels have a different mode.
Yeah. But the problem is that we're like, what, 8, 9, 10 episodes in
yeah,
before they start doing it?
it was dope to see the Titus Adel. My only issue with it is that, and this is a kind of issue with the Wolf team in general, is that I get it, they're not supposed to be the best pilots. They're supposed to be newbies and rookies. But come on now. Like, when they shoulder tackled those Vagans, they should have immediately activated the beam shoulder spikes.
Yeah, they didn't have their beam spikes on.
Oh, yeah. That was an otherwise cool moment, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish they, like, if this was supposed to have been a thing with the Adele from the beginning, why the fuck didn't we do it until now?
I mean, I do like that it exists in the world, though, because that shows that, hey, we're taking this tech and we're going to actually use it and modify our stuff.
I'll say that I liked, but there was one thing about it that annoyed me, was the grand battle strategy view of the first battle for Big Ring. I just thought that was neat. I haven't really seen that before. Like, how does a commander coordinate a giant mobile suit battle like that? The thing that annoyed the ever-living crap out of me is the coordinates and like teams that they were using sounded like ad-lib. Like,
I think
team
they were.
A, B, Q, go to space C7X2. Like, you'd think they would codename that Charlie or Delta or just a simple one-syllable word, so you're not wasting time.
The NATO phonetic alphabet did not survive the colony wars, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh god. No, but I thought that was cool, and I really dug how first off, I liked the X-Rounder team concept, because when they show up, it's unsettling and frightening.
It's
Yep,
like
the
Soul
Magician's
Squadron.
8.
Yeah, no, it's like Soul
But-
Squadron from fucking Ace Combat 7.
Not exactly.
Yeah, but
It's a
the
little
way
different.
it's dealt with is they divert forces and like try to encircle the guys and are concentrating fire on them.
Yeah,
Like,
and it works.
yeah, you can dodge a few bullets, but can you dodge an entire field full?
And the answer is no.
Also, their
Yeah.
name is pretty cool, Magician's 8.
Yeah, because they're the magic bullet. It's sad that their characters only exist to provide names to kills.
Now,
True.
I initially thought, because there's a scene where we see them after the battle, and their commander's scolding out Zahart, and we see a guy with purple hair, right? And I was like, is that Yarkdol's son? And I was sadly disappointed
son
to
has
find
blue
out
hair.
no.
But before we poke on that, the sort of final bit that I liked is we learned that X-Rounders aren't a human evolution. They're actually devolving.
There's a reason I called them smooth brains.
Yeah, I like that little touch, even though it doesn't make
They don't.
most sense. I get where they're coming from.
Well, because
Yeah,
like
they
from a
don't
scientific
really do anything
standpoint,
with it.
yeah, from a scientific standpoint, like, do we count a chicken as a de-evolution from a dinosaur? No. It's just evolving to adapt to its environment. And so X-Rounders would be the same thing. Humanity
old-
adapting to the new frontier that is space.
Well, no. So, because it's very clearly framed as like a survival instinct combat thing, as opposed to something like a new type where you also have empathy and other things.
Well, yeah.
It's supposed to be like that natural selection, survival of the fittest thing kicking back in.
Yes, and that's just evolution.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's just like the framing's kind of different. Even though they don't actually do anything with that notion, and it ultimately just does become new types.
And speaking about that, we mentioned earlier the helmet, which we find out that the Vagans are using helmets which produce a magnetic pulse to actually activate the X-Rounder
The
part of
smooth
your
brains,
brain.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it's like, but it causes long-term brain damage. So it shows that the Vagans are desperate, that they're willing to throw out the longevity of their pilots.
I don't think it's desperation. I think it's just general inhumanity.
And fanaticism. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're not desperate. This war is going to go on for like 50 years. They have reserves.
It's unless don't tell me otherwise. I don't want to finally have an excuse to raise your pitch. I think it's the closest thing we're gonna get to cyber new types, which, you know, the dehumanization of people, the weaponization, yada yada. But instead of horrific labs, it is helmet that makes your brain mush. Which, alright, cool, fine with it.
There's a Looney Tunes clip for this. Just to give me the magic helmet. The opera one.
Oh man. But right. Let's talk about
the
Yark
Kabuchi
Dole.
Monkey Man in the room.
So Yark Dole's son is specific. I feel like it was an epic waste of a character.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
I've been
I was-
been holding that in since we started.
I was really hoping that he'd be like, I don't know, like, you know how like the Vagans have this commander figure, which is typically a mentor for who is the actual commander. So like how
And
Dezel
he even
had
has
his
blue hair.
had his watcher, and now Zahart has his watcher. It would have been cool if we had Zahart's watcher be Yark Dole's son.
Dole's kid. And not meth head Yark Dole's kid who is like 30 and emaciated and crazy.
Yeah. Like, I get it what they were going for, like the point of vengeance, and that it's a circular cycle, and that it was going to eventually come back around to bite Grodek in his ass, but it just feels wasted in that sense.
It's also like blink and you'll miss it. It's like 3 scenes.
And like this kid, he's upset with just solely Grodek and not the entirety of the Federation. Like, you're going to wait for this guy to get out of jail instead of, you know, helping out
and
the cause.
You're not even gonna be a Vagan. You're gonna be an agent for the traitor Federation guys, who they kill immediately after you do your assassination.
All right, I need to point something out here. All right, you know old Grodek, right? His redesign, yeah? After he gets out of prison.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Holy shit.
Grodek is old postal dude. And it makes perfect sense. The entire first war was him going postal, but instead of a cat silencer and a shotgun, he has a warship and a traumatized child.
Jesus Christ. That's too good, man.
Yeah, and his silencer was Flit.
Yeah. No,
Also, can we
Yes.
point out the literal only bit of emotion we've seen from Flit Asuno in this entire story arc
this is from Grodek dying.
is the no to Grodek.
Yeah.
He's not even mad at the Vagans when he's saying he's mad at the Vagans. He's still cold, calculating Gendo Man.
Yeah.
But now I could see the show, if the show has like any worth, taking this to Flit is like tripling down. He's not doubling down because he's already doubled down. This is the triple down. The Vagans are no more.
Yeah.
They can't be redeemed. They killed my mentor. It's over now.
Oh, I will say, I did like how everybody at the prison, once Grodek got out,
They gave him
went-
a 10-gun salute.
they said, "We're sorry we had to keep you here. You are a hero." And they saluted him. I thought
And
that
he's
was
just
cool.
like, and then he doesn't even acknowledge it. He's like, I don't know about that, Chief.
Well, because I mean,
Yeah, you can tell that he feels almost guilty for what he did.
Yeah, which is great.
Like,
I wish he
yeah.
lived long enough to do anything about it.
but
yeah.
if the Federation was worth their money, they would have continued Grodek's charge. Because
No, if the Federation had any balls, they would have been like, hey, here's a promotion to Admiral, keep doing what you're doing.
yeah,
But yeah, so that at the very least does reinforce the one point that I had about Grodek and like what he said to the child, is him going to prison, him doing what he did, was his punishment for all the people he got killed.
Yeah, and then when he gets stabbed, he's like, you know what?
I
That's
deserved
good.
it.
Let's end
And-
it here.
What the one thing I do like,
Is that he runs away screaming?
yeah,
Mhm.
like he,
Yeah.
I think it's sunk into him too after getting what he wants, just like Grodek, that
Oh, this doesn't actually feel good at all.
this doesn't feel good. I became what I hate. Yark Dole, more like Yark Dud. His kid is a mess.
Yeah,
he looks like a crack fiend. He's an active.
he is a crack fiend, I'm pretty sure.
He's an active Florida PvP zone character.
Shit, he's Florida Man.
He hasn't leveled up to that rank yet.
That's why they killed him. He was going to hit critical mass. He was about to evolve, and they needed to put an end to that shit immediately.
But yeah, action overall has been great.
Yeah, the action's been good, and that's what makes me sad about this show is because like I like the action scenes, but I don't care.
Yeah, and like there's clearly effort. behind the
Yeah.
writing, behind the characters, and just it feels like the show's plot, script writing, what have you, is, I'm gonna relate this to another Gundam instance. We're Lieutenant Burning's GM in 0083, and Shima just shot us in the gut. We're still around, it's still functioning, but the piston's creaking. Soon we're gonna explode.
I have a mind-blowing thought for you guys. Look at that image of Grodek.
Mhm.
You see him?
Mhm.
All right, look in the background.
Is that Amafro?
It is Cosmo Yuki Amafro.
That looks like an old Cosmo Yuki. Which, if it is, awesome shout out, you guys, because not only is it, well, a cool shout out, but it's also completely on fucking theme.
Yes, we just need Ideon to come in and end this war finally.
But yeah, I'm just staring at the image and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, holy shit. The Vagans
But yeah.
are even as irredeemably evil as the Buff Clan.
All in all, great 5 episodes. There is probably more to talk about, but I think we kind of interwove them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be more on all of it once we finish out this arc. It hasn't wrapped up all that stuff it's thrown out at us yet.
This actually feels like a story that has a point that's tying in things from one episode to another. So, I dig it. I like Asemu. He's not my favorite protag by any means, but I feel like if
He's not
he is a
bad.
protagonist.
yeah,
He actually is a character you want to follow and you know,
and root for. It felt nice to watch Gundam again and be entertained.
Yup.
But Anchor, you got anything?
At the moment, no. We pretty much went over everything we could.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the last 3 episodes, and then it all goes downhill when we reach Arc 3, and that's the part
It's
that I
actually-
like.
It's actually 2 episodes and an epilogue. Oh, I really like the Kornos. Dezel's mobile suit with like the big cannons on it. I think it's
Yeah.
my favorite Vagan suit so far. Too bad Dezel's
Alright.
shit. He's Dezel.
He's a jobber, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they keep shutting him down. So,
But yeah, all we have to do now is just give a big old thank you to the patrons. So, thank you Larakia, Columbi, Blackacre, Josh, Padden, Mace, Super Atomic Gumboy, Striker, Shockfest, Ken, Kyle Commissar, and Dan. I appreciate it greatly. It's been a load off my mind. Hopefully, uploads are gonna be more consistent from here on out. Fingers crossed. I may or may not try to do a audio drama rewrite of G Savior because I have a wild hair up my butt and I have an idea. Or maybe I won't. Life is weird.
It requires watching G Savior again, so don't hold your breath.
That. And it requires time. But either way, I've been Boo. Thank you all for watching. We'll see all you next time. Goodbye.